Hi everyone, this is Jeff Snow. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go through the web tools with you. I hope you will find this tool something that helps you work with us and a little more easily and a little more efficiently and give you access to our information. So I'll take you through this here, and if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box and we'll come back and answer those at the end of the session. All right, so what we're going to go through, we're going to look at both the public website and the partner website. They are a little bit separate. They have some of this shared content, some of it's a little separated, and you can see what we're going to look at here: the product selector, the literature, some of the support materials. We're going to look at spare parts list. Then we're going to continue down this list and get into the partner website and see some of the tools that only you as distributors have access to. So this is what's on the agenda for today, and I expect this will take about 20 minutes to give you an idea. All right, so starting with the website, out on the public site, you can see our main page that you're used to logging into, and wanted to point out here that if you're not really 100% familiar with our part numbers, or if you're showing this in front of a customer who isn't familiar with our part numbers, that's okay. You can go in under the product family and the market that you're looking at. So you basically select the product family up in here. I've got animations and they're not working. All right. Basically, go in under the product family, select your industry and your category, and it's going to give you a list of the products that are available under that product market and under that product family. Sometimes it can be a pretty long list. For example, when I hit pressure, I've got a fairly long list of products listed because I've got transmitters and gauges for different industries here. If I go up at the top here, I can select some filters, and as I narrow that down, if I select dairy or food and beverage and I select just pressure gauges only, that list will get much shorter for me. So if you're looking in a very specific industry or for a specific product line, or you're looking for a transmitter instead of a gauge, I'd encourage you to use these product filters up to the top of the page, and that'll help narrow that list down for you and make it a lot easier to see what's available from Anderson-Negele to fit the needs you're going for. Once we get down into a product, you'll see kind of the HTML version of what's available here, so an image of the product, a brief summary of it. We have our support materials, our manuals, our tech guides, our order worksheets. If there's any software out there, you'll see those listed. There's also a price page, but unless you're logged in as a distributor, you won't get anything there. If you click that, it's going to ask you to log in. And then most importantly, of course, is the brochure, the literature that we look at from here. All right, so when we click this link, we're going to pull up the brochure. It's a PDF. You can download it and have the information on both sides, or print it out to get all your specific product information. The other link up here takes us to a nice configurated drawing builder, so you can select through the options of the instrument and specify your full part number, and then download a CAD drawing or a STEP file or a SolidWorks file, and actually take that drawing and bring it right into the project you might be working on. So a lot of times an engineering house will ask for these. In the old days, we would have to get an engineer working on it and build exactly the model they were looking for. We did do a lot of work to build this tool up, so we certainly want to make sure that everyone knows about the ability to download or view 3D models of very, very specific product part numbers. So that tool is out there as well. Also listed is a spare parts list. So we've got the accessories and the spare parts that are most commonly used with that product going to be listed down below. Sometimes these are on the price pages. Sometimes there are additional things that the tech group has added. Another place to get to your spare parts numbers, your spare parts list, is under this resources spare part list. Click on that, and what you're going to see is all the different product families blown out. And if you expand these, you'll see the parts list underneath of these. I've learned that this is one of the tools that not a lot of people know about, so I really want to encourage you to use this. We do get a lot of inquiries for spare part numbers, and these are listed out here. Also have a project underway to add photos to each of these. There's about 300 parts in here, and we've got about 50 photos taken so far, so we're slowly working on getting all the photos uploaded to the website. So when you look at these part numbers and these descriptions, you also have an image of the spare part to compare it to. And that should make things a little bit easier for you as well. From here, we also want to point out we have some application guides. A lot of the different challenges we've faced over the years with customers and their applications. Customer brings us something and we're trying to figure out how to help them solve it. We will capture those and we'll put an application bulletin together for it. So under the market, you can select up here. You're going to see a list of different application bulletins. If you're in the industry for a long time, you might already be familiar with these. If you've traveled with an Anderson salesperson, you probably are. If you're new to the industry, or there's a product that's out there and you know it exists but you're not quite sure what it's used for, this is a great place to go and look at these application guides. When you download those or you click on them, it's basically going to show you the individual application and what the requirement was and why this particular product helped that customer solve the problem and has helped other customers solve the same problem. So that's a good place to go, especially if you're studying up on the product and the industry and new to it. A lot of that good information in there for you. Also want to point out, there's up here, we have a few tools available on the feedback site here. If you click on that, we do have a survey. We encourage you to give us our feedback. Where can we do better? Where have we really impressed someone? If you want to give someone kudos and you want to kind of do it on the slide, you could certainly go in here and fill out a survey. We use what's called the Net Promoter Score, which is this question: how likely would you recommend Anderson-Negele to your friends or colleagues? And then we use the specifics coming back to kind of drive changes in our behavior. So if you have something specific you want to point out, I strongly encourage you to do this. The link is on the website. You can share it with your customers. It's also in the signature of all our emails. So I wanted to just remind people. We don't get as many responses here as I wish we would, so that's one of the reasons I want to point it out to everyone so we can get your feedback, either way. Also on this page, we're going to have contact information. So if you want to know who you're calling into when you call the factory, we've got a couple different lists of the contacts here, and we try to keep this current. Things do change sometimes, but we work really hard to keep it current. So in customer service, we have Nicole is a senior customer service rep, and then we've got Stephanie, Anthony, and Ellen, all here for probably just about under a year. So you may have been working with us for years and may remember some names, and you say, hey, whatever happened to Lynn, Lynn Putnam? She did retire. So there have been changes. Gabby Rebello went back home to Peru to be with her family. So we had some changes here in customer service, and Carol did just let me know that she has another person starting next week who will be training in, and that should work out. And then we'll have 5 people in the customer service chairs, and service levels will be where you guys need them to be. I want to point out here a couple of emails. This orders@andersonnegele.com is a box dedicated to receiving purchase orders. So if you do send in purchase orders, that's where we'd like them to go. If you send them to customer service, they're not going to get as quick of an attention or placed as quickly as orders. Also, the customer service box is going to go to the entire customer service team, including Carol, who runs the customer service team, and it's a shared box. And when you submit an inquiry to that customer service box, so that would be pricing for something that is on the website, or an expedite request, or just a general product question that you couldn't find the answer on the website. What that's going to do is create a case in our case management system. So you will get a case number fed back to you pretty quickly, because it's an automated case number, and that will be logged in our CRM package, our customer relationship management package, as a case number, and you'll have that case number. So if you take that case number to anyone working for Anderson-Negele who's customer facing, we will be able to find that inquiry and see what, how it's been handled and what you asked and what we responded, regardless of how long ago it is. Now, this is a fairly new improvement. This is something we've done to improve our service levels to you just in the past maybe 2 months. We've been doing it in application engineering for almost 6 months, and in customer service we just turned it on about a month ago. So big change for us, a bit of a change for you guys, but it's certainly going to make it a whole lot easier for us to track what's going on, how many inquiries we have, who's asking what, and give you a better level of service there. So you probably have noticed that change if you're working with us regularly. The application engineers are also listed here. We have 4 application engineers. Mark and Gary are the senior application engineers. Nick is fairly new. He's earlier into the group. He's a mechanical engineer. And then Tim Burns has been a field service tech for the last 10 years or so, and he's coming off the road just as soon as he gets his replacement trained, and then he will be in here, and we'll have 4 people in tech service. Tech service also uses the case management system, and all the cases will be generated when you send an email to techservice@andersonnegele.com. One other thing on this page I'd like to point out, some of these people ask about technical training. We do offer a field service training class 3 times a year here at the factory, and the registration for that is right here on this page. So all the details are right here. So everything I just showed you is out on the public website. So an end user, anybody just kind of looking around can get to any of that information. So you feel free to share that with your customers. From here forward, we're going to be under the partner website, and this requires that you have a username and a login, and that's going to be something that we issue you when you request it, and somebody, someone who's able to purchase directly through us and has a direct account with us. So these are tools that are made or generated to make this job easier for you. All right, so we'll start with the order status and tracking. So from your main page, you're going to get a login. You're going to have a username and a password that has been issued to you. If you don't have one, I'd encourage you to get one. I would not encourage you to share with other members of your company, so just simply say sign up. That use your company email, and that will get recognized, and we'll send you back a username and a login. All right, so from there, I want to point out, you do need to accept cookies. This basically has to do with privacy laws in Europe, and we are a global company, and it is a global website, so you do need to accept those cookies in order for the site to work for you. From there, we've got a lot of different tools we can take a look at. Email PO simply just puts our email address in your email client, nothing super fancy there. Order tracking is a great tool that I want to show you and encourage you to use if you're not already using it. So the order tracking tool, if I click up here, I'm going to get this order tracking box. Easiest thing to do is just put your purchase and order number in here. It's going to pull the history on your individual purchase order. As long as we've booked it and there's what we call a C number has been generated, that order will show up here within a day. So when we receive your purchase orders into our inbox, we're going to key them in. We're going to assign what we call a C number, or customer order number, and it's going to reference your purchase order number. We're also going to put the date on the order as a due date that you've requested it to ship. If you don't give us a date, we're going to book that to the standard lead time that we publish on our website. If for some reason we've got a parts outage or we've got a run on parts or there's a machine down and there's something where our delivery for that particular product isn't what it should be, we're going to book the request date to, or the due date to what the standard lead time or whatever you asked for, and we will also show you the expected ship date. So what I'm saying is if we anticipate a delay because we know there's something going on here at the factory that's causing a bit of a delivery challenge on a particular product line, we will show you two dates on your order confirmation. The first one is the due date. That's what we're measuring ourselves to, and that's what we're targeting. But if realistically we don't think we're going to hit it, we're also going to show an expected ship date. And we do that because we want to hold ourselves to the highest standard and attempt to ship when you ask for it. But at the same time, if we know we can't, we want to give you all the information possible up front and show you that the date we believe we're actually going to be able to ship it. So you'll see those two dates. If your expected date is blank, that means we expect to ship on the due date. All right. Sometimes we don't know until the day before it's due that an order is going to be late, and when that happens, we will update with the new expected date, and we will send an order confirmation back to whoever it went the first time, and then we'll update this information on the website as well. So this tool pulls the order history every night. So if we make a change today or if we ship something today, you will not see that new information until tomorrow morning. Or if you send an order in and we book it today and you get your order confirmation and you go to look right away, you won't see it till tomorrow, till the data uploads. So far I've talked about open orders. A shipped or completed order is also going to show up on this page, and in that case you're going to see that due date, the actual ship date. You also see the tracking number from the carrier, and if you click that tracking number, you'll be able to be transferred right to the carrier, and you'll be able to pull your proof of delivery and see the tracking on that. So it's a pretty useful tool, and if you weren't using it, I strongly encourage you to use it. I ran the customer service department for 12 years, and I can tell you it's always a little frustrating when you're going in and answering emails, and the question is simply, can you tell me status on this PO? And I pull that PO number up, and I look, and it turns out it shipped a week ago, and here's the tracking number, so I plug that in, I pull the tracking number off the website, paste it into the email, and send it back. So, if you've ever done that, feel a little bit guilty, maybe, and then use this tool going forward, because this is really, really powerful and helps you out. Now, if the information is not here, do not hesitate to reach out to us. That's what we're there for. All right. There's also a shows all orders, shipped and pending. I don't recommend you click that unless you only order one thing a month, because that just pulls too much data. All orders in the 7 days or in the future 7 days, that's pretty good, but really the most useful one is your specific PO number. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't have any questions popping up, so that's good. Moving on from there, we have a couple different ways to get prices. There's one page here under the partners that basically jumps right to the price pages. If you've been doing this a long time like I have, I like to bookmark this page because all my literature and all my price pages are all on one page, all in one place. So if I know what I'm looking for and I just want to get it to it quickly with as few clicks as necessary, then use this one and you can pull the brochures and the price pages in. So that's one page, one place to get the prices. It doesn't mean you're going to look at a price page and you kind of manually reverse configure and figure it out, kind of the old school way of doing things. We also have a configurator, but I skipped ahead here. We also have lead times listed by product family, and when you go to this lead time page here, you're going to see all the different product families, and when you go into it, you're going to see a list of all the different products and their quantity breakpoints and any exceptions to that. This one, you have to really be on the ball because sometimes you'll look at a lead time for something and say, hey, 2 days, that's great. And you book an order and not realize that, oh, it's 5 days because this is a cherry burl eye line. And what that basically comes down to is we are a lean manufacturing facility. We build parts as we use them. If we're going to ship a high quantity of something, then we'll have parts constantly being machined. But if something like a gauge with a cherry eye line, we are not selling that every day or even every week. So we'll cut steel based on you placing an order for that, and that's where that extra 3 or 4 days of lead time comes from. So good thing to keep an eye on these exceptions. If it's something we don't sell all the time, there's a good chance it's going to have a slightly longer lead time. All right. Easiest place to get price and delivery is to go right to this configurator window. It's basically right here, enter an existing part number under the configuration tab. This is going to reverse configure almost any product we have. A lot of code going on behind this, a lot of programming. Really neat thing to use. I use it all the time. When I'm answering email inquiries from you guys, I basically sit there, take your email part number, paste it into here, take the response from this website, paste it into the email, and send it back to you. And I've worked that inbox and just hours just working in and out of that tool. It's very reliable. It's robust. It does figure out what you're looking for. If you try to put an invalid number in, it's going to kick it out for you. So if you take nothing else away from this WebEx then it's worth it because this thing is really great. So to show you a working example here, I just think I've got a part number. I'll make something up. Some of you might recognize that as something that doesn't look quite right, but I'm not sure. So I paste that part number in here, and it's going to reverse configure it as best it can, and it's going to tell me what it doesn't like. So I put a bogus range code in there. It doesn't know what an 060 is. It's telling me exactly what's wrong with the red, and I just need to fix that and put it back in, and it's going to give me a full configured part number. It's going to give me a nice description that I can copy and paste into a quote. It's going to show me what my list price is. It's going to show me what my individual discount is as a distributor, and of course my net price that you can work with as a cost. If there's any hooks or catches in here, it's going to be a note that kind of warns you, hey, look out for this. If you've got a unique fitting, then there may be a longer lead time on it, and chances are it's going to be non-cancelable, non-returnable, because we don't sell very many of them, and we don't keep a big warehouse of slow-moving parts. Okay. All right. So, of course, you see quantity breakpoints as well. There's a little note on here. These are business days. So if you see 5 days, that's a week. 2 days, 2 standard, working days, excluding holidays, weekends, that sort of thing. So that's where that comes from. All right. So if I don't know my part number, I don't have it from a repair, or no one's given it to me, but I know I need to put something together, go up here to this configure your new part, and it's going to list out all the different products that have configurators, and it's almost all of them, very few exceptions here. It's going to list it in a big, long, scrolling list, but for presentation purposes, I kind of put them all on one page, and it's going to break them out by family, so you can kind of go through and see what you're looking for. Let's just take an easy one here and go with an EL gauge again. We'll click on this link, and it's going to pull up that configurator. I'm going to see what my options are. So if I have a part number but I'm not quite sure about it, I can see those in the pull downs. If I'm going by description, I can do that. So I just basically hit each of these pull downs and make my selection, hit my continue here, make my selection, and it's going to give me a nice clean output that I can use to quote from. All right. And again, super easy to copy and paste this. I'll give you a little trick. If the formatting looks a little funky when you paste it in, just do a paste special text only. It'll lose all the formatting. It'll just drop right into your email or your quote form nice and cleanly. That's the easiest way to do it. I do it all the time. If you do just a straight paste, you're going to carry this formatting with you. if it works for you, great. If not, just do a paste special text only, and you get a nice clean. You don't have to type anything over again. All right. Also, I can pull up repairs from the website. So moving out of orders over to RMA, you know that we do a big business with repairs. I mean, you guys do it as well. You've got customers that are giving you older products that have failed, competitive products, products that they just need to have recalibrated, or they know it's worn out and they just want it to be replaced. Anderson has been long known for having a loyalty program to encourage customers to come back to us with our older product, and we'll give some credit towards that. And we want to make this really easy for you, so this tool is right on the website. I think there's quite a few people that are using this, and maybe a few that aren't aware of it. But this is really what we want you to do when you need to send something in for repair. If you want to get a price for it, but you don't actually know if you want to send it in yet, you don't have to get an RMA. You can actually click this line here and get your repair pricing just with a serial number and a model number. So this form will pull up. You can put a serial number in there. It's going to go to a serial number lookup database and find the part number. It's going to run it through the reverse configurator and figure out what it is, put a current price on it, and then give a discount based on the age. So things that are under 5 years old get a 10% discount. Things that are over 5 years old I got that backwards. Things that are over 5 years old get a 15% discount. No, I'll get it straight yet. Over 5 years is a 10% discount. Under 5 years is a 15% discount, and it's basically a loyalty discount we intend to pass on to the end user for bringing that product back to us to allow us to replace it. All right. If you have a part number but you don't have a serial number, go ahead and type not available in the serial number. It will reverse configure the part number and still give you a repair price as if it's over 5 years old, so that's pretty useful. So I put that serial number in there, it pulled up my part number, reverse configured it, gave me my discount, showed me my list price that I can give my end user as well as my discount. Okay. If I do want an RMA, I click the request RMA, the form will be pre-filled out for me. I just need to put a purchase order in here and my shipping instructions, put my serial number and my description, and really encourage you to give us a comment or a complaint on what's going on. Generally, we're going to quote everything. You do have the option to say okay to place order. What we've experienced is when sometimes when people say they want to place an order, they still wanted a quote. So our repair department will quote everything and ask you if it's okay to proceed once you have that price. Warranty evaluations also are done this way. One thing I do want to point out, if you want to send something in that you didn't mean to order or your customer didn't want, and you just want a straight credit for it, please do not use this tool. That's not what it's for. So this red text here says you must contact factory for all credit returns. It's a different RMA database. We need to validate that that product is actually returnable. So for that, please send an email in or give us a call, and we'll give you a different type of RMA for that credit if the product is returnable. All right. You also have a serial number lookup out here on the website. There is one that's public and there's one that's behind the distributor login that will allow you to just basically look something up and see what it is and when it was shipped. That same dialog box is also going to pull up the accuracy certs or the certificates of the material composition for that product. So every product that comes in contact with a customer's product will have material certs. Very few exceptions there. So you want to figure out where the steel came from, or the gasket, or the material that came from that's touching your fluid product. Then you can pull the material certs up for that for almost everything. Products that are designed as a pharmaceutical product and marketed to the pharmaceutical or life sciences industry are going to come standard with this in the box, and also are going to come standard with accuracy certs to show the calibration data from when it was calibrated. Products typically sold to food, dairy, beverage industries do not come with that cert, and we don't keep the data unless you ask for it when you order it. So if you ever have an EL gauge and you come back and say, hey, can I get the calibration cert for it? If you didn't ask for it when you didn't ship it, we're going to ask you to send the gauge back so we can recalibrate it, and then we'll keep track of the data. But to get to that information, if you order it when you place the order, it's going to be in the box, but if for some reason that paperwork gets misplaced, you can always pull this up online. And the end users can do that themselves too. So it's a pretty powerful tool as well. All right. So that concludes the presentation, and now I'm available for any questions you guys might have. And I do have one here. Someone asked how do they get a proof of delivery on a shipment? And so if you remember when I did the order tracking, that you put your purchase order number in there, and if the order was current and not shipped, it's going to show you due dates. But if the order is shipped, it's going to give you a tracking number, and then clicking that tracking number will jump you right over to the carrier's page, and you can pull your proof of delivery off of that. All right. And so if anybody wants to use that chat window to type in any questions, I'll see those, and we've got a few more minutes that we can do that. As someone asking, they said, you know, I saw you provided technical training. Do you also offer any sort of sales training? So we do actually. We do that once a year here at the factory. We have one coming up fairly soon. It's coming up actually in about 3 weeks, and I think there's still some room in there. Is that true, guys? Yeah. So if you are anxious to come to the factory and take a plant tour and hear some training right here from the product managers and myself, you should have an invitation in your box, and go looking for that, and you can sign up for that sales workshop. It's 2 days, and we basically cover the entire product line as best we can in that 2 days, and it's good training. Now, if you are interested in having training at your facility, then I'd encourage you to reach out to me directly or your regional sales manager. I have taken to the road lately, and I've been traveling around North America and doing exactly that, doing product sales and technical training, as well as using these tools. And so if that's something you'd be interested in, like I said, mention it to your RSM or reach out to me directly, and I'll see when I'm going to be in your area. All right, I have another one about expediting orders here. How do I expedite an order? So we will book an order due date to the request date that you put on your purchase order. So if you send an order in and you say, hey, my due date is in 2 days, that's when I want it to ship, that's what we're going to book the order to, and that's what we're going to target, and that's what we're going to try to hit it. If we don't think we're going to, we're going to tell you when we think we're going to hit it. Now, if you say, look, that's the date I want it, but I really, really need it. This plant is down. Whatever it takes, I need you to get it to me by this date, or at least sooner than standard. You know, I'm willing to pay for that. What can I do? Well, if that's the case, we have something we call emergency service. And what that is we put a premium charge on there, and it's kind of just to make sure you and your customer really mean it. And it's a 10% adder, and it's a net charge on top of the list price of the product. And we will take that to manufacturing and say, look, we want you to put this order in front of other orders. How quickly can you get it done? The customer's willing to pay extra. So this is really intended for that emergency situation. And one thing I will ask is please call or email us to ask for that. Don't simply put that emergency service charge on your purchase order, because when you do that, the PO comes in and nobody has checked to make sure we can do that, and we've lost time. So if you know you're going to need that, give us a call. If you send an email, I would follow up pretty quickly with a phone call just to make sure we don't lose any time, but really we'd like you to give us a phone call and tell us what you're trying to expedite. We will run that expedite request out to manufacturing to see what we can do and give you back our best guess at what we can do, tell you what that charge is, and we'll tell you we have generally only a couple of hours to place that order before that expedite expires. You know, in some cases we might be taking a product from another order with the intent of, you know, just building that one afterwards, and so we kind of need to know what's going to be happening pretty quickly once we start, you know, reprioritizing things here at the factory. So we can do that in a lot of cases. Sometimes we can't. If that's the case, we'll tell you that. If you want it, you know, to ship tomorrow, but you don't want to pay extra for that, then just simply put on your purchase order that you want this to ship tomorrow, and that's how we'll book it. One thing I will say, if your POs always say ship today, you know, no matter what, your system just automatically defaults to that, and it's still shipping ground, we are going to assume that isn't really what you meant, and we're just going to book to standard lead time. Now, on the flip side, if you say ship next day air, must ship today, then that's how we're going to book it. All right. And I think that's all the questions I have. So, and we're about 30 minutes, just over, so I think we're on time. So everyone who signed up is going to have an email coming out from me shortly, or from us, and it's going to have a coupon code in there that's going to give you an additional discount when you use these tools. So show us that you're using this tool, and you'll get some discount on additional orders, and the details of that will be in that email. So, all right, great. I got some comments, but nothing, no questions here popping up. So I think we're ready to wrap things up. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good weekend.